Hi everyone, today I'm here with Birch Press Design and I am using the beautiful Enchantment Plate set today. And what I'm going to be creating with this is a card sleeve with part of the design and then a note card that still carries that design through all the way to the inside of the card when it's open. And so we're using this 3 sections of these plates to create 3 sections of a note card with a sleeve. And I am so excited about this project because it is so unbelievably fast and easy, and I can't wait to show you how I made it. So the Enchantment Plate layering set has 3 dies, layers A, B, and C. We're going to be using them all today. The middle layer is going to have just a really quick wash on some watercolor paper just for whatever colors that we want to use. And today I was excited to try some re-inkers, and these are also wonderful to watercolor with. I didn't realize I kind of made a mess on my fingers with them, but they are wonderful. I keep a little palette of them and they make such beautiful washes. Today I'm using a mixture between the Stamp Market colors and Altenew, and I just love these colors combined. And this is a great way that I have found to try out colors before I buy the ink pads, which can really add up. So next I'm going to be making the card sleeve, and here are the dimensions for that. And I started off by scoring 1/4 inch all the way around. Once I had scored all the way around, I made sure that the long edge was up against the top of my scoreboard, and I needed to make 2 score lines for where we're going to fold the card. This is the spine of the sleeve, and so I needed a score line at 4 9/16, which is not possible on the scoreboard, so I made a little mark where I wanted it to be and then just bumped it over so that I could have a score line there. So I'm really not measuring beyond that. I'm just scoring right where I wanted that to be and then counting 2 over, which is 1/4 inch, and that's how thick our spine's going to be. It may sound very, very particular when we're talking about 1/16 of an inch, but we also needed a little extra space for the note card to fit inside the sleeve. So the sleeve had to be ever so slightly larger so that it would fit nicely. Now what I'm showing here is how each corner is not showing any tabs. In fact, when you look at this box from any angle, you see that it's just a very crisp tabless box, I guess is how you would say it. To achieve this, rather than cut tabs on the long edges here, I went straight on those cuts of the score line. And I'll show it here in a second, it'll probably make more sense, but rather than cut a tab like this, I cut the long edges straight. So I'll show it all. See how those are straight on the edges, and then on the short edges are tabs. The next thing I needed was the circle so that the sleeve could actually show through to the note card. I needed to cut out the same size so that when it is all closed it still fits together nicely as one design. So I used a template and just traced the outline of the size circle that I needed. And then I was able to find a circle from one of my nested circle die cut stashes and just cut that away. And so now I have the perfect half circle so that the design underneath can show through. And this is what it looks like now. The next step was to do the exact same thing with the note card. So this is a standard size A2 note card base, and I just simply laid the template back down. But this time I want to cut out the innermost layer so that when the note card is opened, there's still a little design showing. And so once again, I just found a nested circle die that fit that and cut it. And here's what I wound up with. It's a note card that has a tab cut out of it that will exactly fit that design. And I have little tabs on all the edges because I wanted those edges of the card sleeve to be reinforced, and so that's why there are extra little tabs here. And I did cut those into tabs, unlike the long side there. And then I just glued them down. This is going to be the very inside tab, and it's fine without a liner, but you can see the seam there, and so I just put a darling piece of striped pattern paper. This is from the Memory Box Springtime Bouquet 6x6 pad, I believe, and that made the cutest little insert and matched perfectly. Next, I'm just gluing down the edges, and notice how I'm gluing the tabs toward the back because we don't want to see any seams as we're looking at it from the top side at all. And I also discovered that the bone folder is exactly the same width, which is 1/4 of an inch, so it was a handy little tool to help seal in all the glue. And then I'm just simply gluing down all the flaps, and this is what I'm left with. So all that's left to do is add the layers where they need to go. And I did save this for the very end rather than put it down while it was flat, because I am really messy and I know that I'm dealing with a white top layer. So I just wanted to make sure that it was all nice and clean, and I didn't have to be creating anything with a white layer on top. So white's the top layer, the watercolored portion was the middle layer, and silver was the base layer, and it's a silver foil cardstock. And it really wasn't a problem to put this on last because that bone folder, like I said, was the exact same dimension, so it created a really nice platform for me to be able to seal everything down with, and that just worked great. So then I put the second section onto the note card, and then I folded the note card so it was flat, and then glued the third section in where it needed to be. I did put it under some weight to dry, just so that it would dry nice and flat and crisp. And then once that had a chance, this is what I was left with, and it's just a wonderful note card that could be done horizontally or vertically. A greeting could be placed on the white space or just left blank. But I love the dimension that's created when there is something bulky inside. See that space and the dimension. I just think that that is so cool. And I also wanted to show an idea that is also a really neat way to give seeds. Now this is just an example. This one's been opened and it's got watermarks and all that on it. But sometimes seeds come in little vials, and that is a really fun way to give seeds. And anything about 1/4 of an inch thick will fit perfectly inside this card. So something like that would be a really neat way to give seeds. And that's all there is to it. This is a fun, easy card and a beautiful gift to give somebody. I hope you give it a try. Thank you for stopping by today. I'll see you again soon.